So good morning and welcome to Healthy at Home. This is the last week of our live Healthy at Home. And today we're going to be speaking about the foot and ankle. This whole week actually is going to be about the foot and ankle. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen and we'll get right into the PowerPoint. Let's bring this back here. Okay. So Healthy at Home, the foot and ankle. You all know that this is educational, and if you need one-on-one care, you can email us or call us and we'll schedule an appointment for you. So the foot and ankle, here is the anatomy, the bony anatomy first. So the foot itself is a very interesting complex when we're dealing with the ankle and the toes. So one of the most important bones is the talus. Our talus, in physical therapy school, they explain it like it's kind of like a mortise where it allows the tibia and fibula, our shin bones, to be like pillars of a bridge over on top of it. And those two shin bones either shift forward or back depending on the weight transference. So our feet, when you're bearing weight on them, if you're shifting the weight forward, you're going into what's known as dorsiflexion. And then if you're pushing the toes away, it's called plantar flexion. Those two main motions happen at the talocrural joint. So talo being the talus, crural, I believe, is the name of the arch that the tibia and the fibula form over it. So just something to point out here, this is a really important bone in our ankle joint. The other important bone is the calcaneus. So that's our heel bone. Like if you were to, feel that big round protuberance, that's your calcaneus. Other things to point out here, you can see how the rest of the foot bones are positioned. So you can see how they're kind of stacked like little pebbles. And then you have the toes themselves. They're long. There's multiple portions to them because they each have multiple joints. And it's somewhat similar to the hand. Only big difference here with the foot is because we're bearing weight on them, the complexity of the ankle joint with the talus allows for more motion and stability. So the next slide has a lot of the ligaments that are there to point out. So similar to how we were speaking about the sacroiliac joint on Friday, the ankle and foot has a lot of ligamentous complexity to it to allow for that stability. So remember, the ligaments themselves, they're inert tissue, which means that they technically aren't supposed to be changing their length. They're supposed to just be holding everything together and keeping it tight. So this is why ankle sprains are so common, because if you roll your ankle or if you have any kind of injury, you misstep, these ligaments are there to keep the stability, and they're the ones to take the brunt of that kind of trauma. I have here this image too, because you can see this is the heel bone, the calcaneus. This is our Achilles tendon, very commonly known. It inserts onto your heel bone. So sometimes people can have Achilles tendonitis, but it can be insertional Achilles tendonitis, meaning that it's only felt on that back heel bone. Some people, however, have it further up as well, but it is common to have it at the insertion too. So another thing that I wanted to point out was just like, look how layered the foot is, all the different ligaments, tendons running through. And you can just appreciate, this is the inside of your foot, this is the outside of the foot, the ankle, this is your pinky bone, fourth, third, second, and then big toe. So you can also see here, this is a better image. You can see the fibula and then the tibia and how they arch over that talus bone. The talus bone's hidden here, so you can't really see it. This is a much more clear view of your lateral ankle. The reason I put lateral ankle images in here is because the most common region to sprain if you sprain your ankle is your lateral ankle, aka your outside of your ankle. And they're pointing out the ligaments that you sprain. So you sprain the ATFL, PTFL as well. The full names are there. And yeah, that is why I put this one in here. The next thing that I wanted to show was the plantar fascia. Many of us have heard of plantar fasciitis. It's a very common inflammation in the fascia that happens for a few different reasons. So plantar fasciitis can occur if you have flat feet. You're just going to be prone to having plantar fasciitis. Plantar fasciitis can occur if you actually have tightness in your calves and just tightness in your hamstrings in general. So the fascia, which I've mentioned in previous weeks, is a connective tissue that runs from head to toe. And so the bottom of your feet is that very bottom anchor of the end of that fascial thread. And so if your hamstrings are tight, that will cause a pull all the way down to the bottom of your foot. Same with your calf. And then if you go up even higher, same with your low back. If the low back fascia is tight, that can affect the fascia at the bottom of your feet. So whenever you're treating plantar fasciitis, you want to consider the whole chain that could be involved, not just that specific point or region. I want to also just leave this here for a moment for you to see, because it's kind of cool to look at. You know, you can see that there's different slips of it, and you can also see how it covers and protects all the muscles of your foot. So fascia itself, its job is to compartmentalize different muscle groups, neurovascular bundles, just to keep everything together. I believe also they point out, did they point out in here? Let's see. No, not in this one. Okay, let's see. I might have it in the next one. This one isn't as clear, but what I like about this image is that they show you the plantar fascia at the bottom in this upper image here. So you can see that. And then in these bottom images too, they show you, this might be hard to understand, this image from someone who isn't looking at people and analyzing their posture, but this person's foot is in pronation. And so what happens is that just puts excess strain on the ligamentous structure, and then they may be more prone to plantar fasciitis because it causes a dropped arch and things like that. So I'm going to, okay, so common foot and ankle injuries, already spoke about ankle sprains, already spoke about plantar fasciitis. Bone spurs commonly happen on the calcaneus. Bone spurs can also happen in different parts of our body, but I just mentioned bone spurs here because bone spurs typically occur when there is excess stress or force being placed on one bony part of the body. So the heels, most commonly, because if you're walking, you're standing, that impact, that pounding, the body responds to excess stress by forming more bone, actually. So that's just a natural mechanism that our body has. Sesamoiditis might sound kind of funny, but there's something called the sesamoid bone. That's a little pebble-like bone that's underneath the bottom base part of your big toe. So moving on now, ankle fractures. So obviously ankle fractures will only occur for some kind of trauma, and most of the same considerations for the other injuries, good morning, Elmer, have to be considered as well. I put foot and ankle pain there also just because sometimes foot and ankle pain, like many other musculoskeletal conditions, has like an umbrella of causes. So sometimes someone will have plantar fasciitis, but they might also have sesamoiditis. So sometimes it can be complex. Okay, so treatment. So physical therapy treatment for these things, you guys know I've been going through this in all the weeks. Therapeutic exercises include stretches, which we are going to go over today. strengthening, which we're going to go over on Friday, and then neuromuscular reeducation. For the foot and ankle, balance training is super important for whenever you're rehabbing foot and ankle injury, because you want to stabilize the structure. And then agility training and return to running if someone is an athlete and runs. In terms of hands-on treatment, we do transverse friction massage, which is just a way to break up scar tissue and promote healing, as well as passive stretching and kinesiotaping, which I think I haven't mentioned yet at all in any of these lectures, but I love kinesiotaping to help stabilize the ankles. I also love it a lot for the scapula and the shoulder as well. So now we're going to do a demo of exercises. So give me just a moment to get the angle just right for us. So the first stretch that I want to go over is the runner stretch. Now, many people do the runner stretch one way, but there are two muscles in the calf complex that we want to target. So I'm going to show you a standing variation. Again, remember, everything that I'm showing is general recommendations. If you have any foot and ankle injuries, maybe just watch and then we can talk about scheduling a one-on-one after. Okay, so I'm gonna angle my camera down because you're definitely gonna wanna see my feet on the floor. So, everybody see me over here?
Sure.
Yep.
So, you wanna have your hands on a wall. If you don't have a wall, you can have it like on a countertop or a piece of furniture. You want something that's sturdy to hold on to. So when you're doing the runner stretch, a few important parts about this. The big toes should be pointing straight forward. Okay, you never want to have the big toes turned out or turned in. So big toes should be pointing straight forward. So hands are going to be on the wall or that sturdy surface. Your front knee is going to bend. Your back knee is going to stay straight. Both heels stay down. So you're keeping a straight spine. You're breathing into the stretch. Taking some time, deep breaths. Remember, whenever you're doing your stretches, you want to hold your stretches for at least 30 seconds. So you're breathing. Remember also when you're stretching that the muscles have a rhythm. So if you feel that the stretch isn't happening, just listen to your body. Maybe it needs a little bit longer than the 30 seconds. Okay, and then you will switch sides. Remember, both big toes are pointing straight forward. The heels are down, and we're just bending the front knee. We're bending just the front knee because this variation of the stretch is targeting your gastrocnemius muscle. So you're holding it. Typically, one side is tighter than the other. That just goes for common asymmetries in our body. Breathing into it. Ideally, you'll do 2 to 3 repetitions on each side. Okay, now we're going to do just one more rep on each side of this one. So big toes are pointing straight forward. Spine is straight. Back knee is straight. And then your front knee is bending forward. Good. Breathing into it. And then we'll switch again. The knee that is in front, that is bending, you want to be sure that it doesn't bend past your midfoot. So you want to keep the knee in line with your second and third toe as well, just to protect your knee. Okay, all right, so now the second variation is for the deeper soleus muscle. The soleus muscle can be stretched by making your stance a little bit smaller with your feet, keeping the big toes pointing straight forward. And then you're going to bend both knees at the same time. Bending both knees at the same time. Breathing into that. Now, many people, if their soleus muscle isn't that tight, you may feel this right away in your Achilles tendon. So it's possible that you may not need this variation, but this just gets the deeper part of the calf complex. Okay, then stand up and you're gonna switch feet again. Both big toes are forward. Your stance is a little bit smaller than the first variation. And then you're gonna bend both knees simultaneously. Holding this stretch for 30 seconds. Breathing into it. Good, and then come back up. We'll do one more rep on each side. Big toes are pointing straight forward, bending both knees. Good, and you'll feel as you repeat more repetitions that the muscle will soften and loosen up. That's the beauty of stretching. And come up, last time on the other side. Both knees are slightly bent. Good, your heels are staying down, so both heels remain down on the ground. And then come back up. Okay, so that is both of the runner stretch variations that I recommend. The last thing we're gonna finish with is a overall myofascial release of the foot. Now again, if you have any foot injuries, this wouldn't be the first thing I would recommend going to, but this is a great way to warm up and release the fascia in the foot. So I'm gonna demonstrate here. I'm just gonna angle the camera down so you can see my foot. So, okay. So my leg is crossed like so. I'm gonna take my fingers and web them in between my toes. If you're a yogi, you may already do this. So this is a great way to warm up the whole foot. And so just get the fingers in between first and just wait there, because for many people, just getting the fingers in between the toes is a stretch in and of itself. So from there, what we're gonna do is we're gonna slowly circle the whole foot around 8 times one way and then 8 times the other way. Take your time. You really want to be slow with this. Good. Circling around. And then reverse that circle 8 times the other way. Our feet are commonly not attended to on a daily basis, you know, but they need a ton of care because we are bearing weight on them. Okay, and then once you're done with the circles, you're gonna hold it. We're not gonna switch sides yet. You're going to gently flex the toes backwards. So you're, instead of doing a circling and pulling towards you, you're actually gonna push the toes away and just feel a stretch the bottom of your foot. Now, if that isn't enough of a stretch, you can take the opposite hand and let go of the web toe position and then just pull the toes back with the opposite hand instead. Depends on how much of a stretch you need. So you should feel that in the bottom of your foot. And relax, do that one more time.
Michael.
And okay, let's switch to the other side. So we're gonna start with the fingers webbed in between your toes. Just get comfortable with that first. For me, my right foot is tighter than my left. So we're gonna do the circles. 8 circles one way, 8 circles the other way. This is warming up and softening the fascia in the bottom of your foot and the entire foot and ankle complex itself. Good. And then once you do 8 the other way. Okay. And then, what'd you say, Jeannie?
I said it tipped up and I said, where's your chandelier?
Oh, I will tip it back in a minute. So we're going to next pull the toes backwards and just hold for a few seconds here. So typically when you're doing the plantar fascia stretches, I always say start with 10 to 15 seconds because it can be intense, especially if it's super tight. And then relax. Do that one more time. Just hold it there, flexing the toes back. And then relax. Okie dokie. So I should also say that when you're treating plantar fascia, remember we spoke about the fascia itself being that connective thread. I wouldn't just be doing these stretches, but these stretches are specific for the foot and ankle. I would also be doing hamstring stretches. I would also be doing stretches for recommending for my patient to do stretches for their back to stretch out the fascia and muscles there too. So, but any questions about that? So pretty straightforward. We reviewed the calf stretches, and then we reviewed plantar fascia warm-up and stretch. Nope, okay. So I'm gonna go back to the screen share. So, okay. So since today we did stretches, on Friday I'm going to finish up with ankle stability. So everyone knows this week is the last week of Healthy at Home Live because I'm transitioning to a live stream series that starts tomorrow. Tomorrow will be on Instagram. I'll speak about that in just another minute. We are continuing the virtual Pilates classes. I teach an 11 a.m. class. There's one spot left in that. And then my teammate, Dr. Amarantha Burkle, is teaching a intermediate level class Wednesdays at 6 p.m. There's a few more classes in that because a few more spots in that because her class is more challenging than mine, as you can imagine. So, and my team and I are continuing to offer virtual evals and follow-ups as well as one-on-one Pilates sessions. So this is what I'm very excited about that's starting this week. Tomorrow, May 26th, Blossom Crawford is joining me on Instagram Live, and we're going to be speaking about the evolution of Pilates. And if you are on Instagram, the first 5 people who give a thumbs up get a free Pilates class with myself as well as with Blossom. So definitely tune in. Lots of goodies to give away. And then on Wednesday this week on my YouTube channel, I will be interviewing Dr. Shaw Bronner. She is a trailblazer dance medicine researcher who is the dance physical therapy director of the Alvin Ailey Dance Department. So she is full of knowledge about dancer health and safety, and we're going to be speaking about safe return to dance after quarantine. And then you can see the other doctors and wellness professionals that I'll be interviewing for the rest of the month. So that's tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Instagram. I'm very excited to have Blossom on tomorrow. And then Wednesday is Dr. Shaw Bronner. She will be on my YouTube channel. And oh, I didn't mention Sarah Choi. She's a holistic nurse at Lenox Hill Hospital, and she's going to be a new add-on to the series on Friday, June 19th. We're going to be speaking about compassionate self-care and how to shift your internal dialogue to that of self-love. And she will also be doing a sound healing sample session at the end of that live stream. So another awesome guest that's going to be on. If you would like to follow on Instagram, that's the Instagram handle @Inspira Physical Therapy. Facebook and YouTube is the same. It's Inspira Physical Therapy and Pilates. And then here's the other contact info. Thank you guys so much.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you, Melanie.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye, Melanie.
you're welcome. Happy Memorial Day. If you guys have any questions, you know how to get me.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Bye.